Hello, guys, and welcome to this quiet little corner of the past. Tonight, we leave behind the noise of the modern world and step into a slower time. A time of rice fields, wooden sandals, paper lanterns, and tea bowls held in quiet hands. This is boring history for sleep, where nothing exciting ever happens, and that's exactly how we like it. If you're here to unwind, to let go of the day, or to gently fall asleep to the soft sounds of storytelling, you're in the right place. So pull the blankets a little tighter, dim the lights, maybe light a candle if you like the flicker of flame. And if these slow journeys through forgotten lives bring you peace, consider subscribing. Not because you have to, but because you're welcome here, always. Let me know in the comments where you're listening from or what time it is as you drift off. It's always lovely to know who's sharing the night with me. Now, close your eyes if you like. Let your breath slow, and together, let's wander back to a simpler world. This is what daily life was really like in feudal Japan. And it all begins with the sound of quiet footsteps on a dirt path at dawn. As the first light of morning touches the earth, a soft mist lies over the rice fields. Everything is quiet, the air is cool and damp. Water fills the narrow paths between each row of young green rice plants. It reflects the pale colors of the sky like a mirror. In the distance, a rooster crows slow and steady, as if even he knows there's no need to hurry. A farmer walks along the edge of the paddies. His steps are gentle. He wears a straw hat and sandals made from rope. In his hand is a bamboo pole, used to tap the water channels and check that they are flowing just right. The sound of his footsteps and the quiet splash of water are the only things breaking the silence. The smell of wet earth rises with the mist. It's a smell the farmer knows well, comforting, strong, and familiar. These fields are not just his work, they are his life. He planted them by hand, and he will harvest them the same way. There are no machines here, only hands, feet, and patience. Far off, a conch shell is blown from the temple on the hill. Its long, low note drifts over the fields like a soft wind. It's a signal not to rush, but to remind people that another day has begun. The farmer pauses, presses his palms together, and bows to the land. Then he goes back to his work. Here in feudal Japan, the day starts not with noise or rushing, but with stillness, and with a quiet thank you to the land that gives so much. The house is quiet. Outside, the first rays of morning light slide through wooden shutters made of paper and wood. They paint long rectangles across the floor, soft and pale. In a quiet room, a man begins to wake. He is a samurai. He doesn't jump out of bed, he doesn't stretch with a yawn. Instead, he opens his eyes slowly. His breath is calm, steady. He lies on a futon placed on the floor, wrapped in a thick quilt. Beside him, his wife still sleeps peacefully. Their small child snores softly under another layer of blankets. The samurai sits up slowly. He moves with care, as if every movement is part of a dance. He kneels before a small shrine tucked into the corner of the room. It holds a candle, a charm, and a figure of the family's guardian spirit. He bows deeply, his forehead almost touching the floor. Then he folds his hands in prayer. No words are spoken, but inside, he gives thanks for waking up, for his family, for another chance to live with honor. A retainer enters quietly, carrying a tray. It holds a bowl of hot miso soup, some pickles, and a little rice. The steam rises gently into the air. The samurai eats without hurry. Every bite is slow. Every moment is part of his routine, part of his discipline. He wipes his mouth, finishes his tea, and places the tray aside with care. Then, from a corner, he takes out his sword. He doesn't draw it. He simply places it beside him, laying it with respect. It is not just a weapon, it is his heart, his duty, his soul. This is how a samurai greets the day, with calm, control, and quiet strength. The sun is rising, but the village is still hushed. A rooster crows somewhere in the distance, its voice echoing through the cold morning air. Inside a small wooden house with a straw-thatched roof, a peasant family is starting their day. The inside of the home is dark, lit only by the soft glow of the hearth. Smoke curls gently from the small fire pit in the center of the room. An old black pot hangs above it, bubbling quietly. Inside is the family's breakfast. A simple soup made of miso, rice, and a few pieces of wild greens gathered the day before. The father stirs it with a wooden spoon. His hands are rough from years of work in the fields. His wife sits beside him folding cloths. Their children are just waking up, rubbing their eyes and blinking at the warm light. One child coughs softly, and another yawns as she pulls a thin blanket around her shoulders. The father ladles soup into small bowls. He gives the first one to his elderly mother, who smiles without speaking. Then each member of the family receives their own. There is no rush. No one talks loudly. The meal begins only after the father bows his head and whispers thanks not just to the food, but to the land, the rain, and the spirits that bless them. Chopsticks click softly against the wooden bowls. Outside, the wind gently rustles the bamboo fence. Inside, there is warmth, peace, and the steady rhythm of family. Their breakfast is not grand, but it is enough. Enough to fill their bellies, enough to give them strength for a long day ahead, and enough to remind them of what matters most, being together. In a quiet room, sunlight slips through the paper windows and stretches gently across the floor. A woman kneels beside a wooden chest. The lid creaks softly as she lifts it. Inside are folded layers of cloth, each one carefully placed, each one full of meaning. She begins with the first layer, a simple white undergarment made of linen. It is soft and plain, touching the skin gently. Over that, she wraps a cotton kimono. The color is dark, a faded blue, dyed with indigo worn from many seasons of use. It is stitched in places, patched with care by her own hands. But even old fabric carries dignity when worn with grace. If she is from a samurai family, she might choose silk, a soft pink perhaps, or pale green with a small pattern of falling leaves or tiny waves. The cloth glides over her skin like wind through grass. It whispers as she moves, not loudly but softly, like a secret. Tying the obi, the wide sash, takes time. She wraps it around her waist and pulls it snug. Then she folds and tucks it just right, making sure the knot sits clean and neat. It is not just clothing. It is tradition. It is order. It is a way to show who she is without speaking a word. Her sandals are wooden, with cloth straps. They wait at the door, ready to meet the road ahead, whether it leads to the market, the shrine, or the fields. Every piece of clothing she puts on has a reason. Every layer says something. And though her voice may be quiet, her appearance speaks clearly. It tells the story of her family, her season, her place in the world. The village begins to wake, not all at once, but gently like the morning mist that rises from the roofs and fields. The air is still cool, touched with the scent of damp earth, old wood, and smoke from the first hearth fires being lit. No one shouts, no one hurries. Life here begins slowly, as it always has. A woman steps out of her home and carries a wooden bucket toward the well. As she lowers it, the rope creaks, soft and steady. Water splashes quietly at the bottom, cool and clear. A child, chases a chicken down the narrow path, giggling but not loud enough to disturb the peace. Nearby, a man begins to pound mochi rice cakes with a heavy wooden mallet. Each strike makes a dull, deep sound. Thud. Pause. Thud. Pause. The rhythm is almost like a drum beat, steady and calming. It echoes between the houses and blends with other sounds, the scraping of a broom, the soft hum of a potter's spinning wheel, the chirping of sparrows in the thatched eaves. The smells of the village float through the air. There is fresh steam from boiling rice, the sharp tang of pickled vegetables drying in the sun, and the sweet, yeasty scent of rice wine fermenting behind sliding doors. Everything smells of life, simple, honest, unhurried. An old man mends a fishing net by hand, pulling each thread through slowly, carefully, as if time itself is something that can be touched and shaped. He looks up as a neighbor passes, and they bow slightly, no words needed. This is the music of the village. Quiet voices, wooden tools, boiling pots, and birds in the sky. A harmony of slow and steady life, repeated with love, every single day. The streets of the castle town begin to stir under a gentle morning sky. The walls of the castle stand high in the distance, strong but quiet, their shadows stretching over the rooftops. These streets are narrow and made of packed dirt, worn smooth by hundreds of passing feet, carts, and sandals. Shutters creak open one by one. Shopkeepers step outside, bowing to neighbors before sweeping their doorsteps. A tofu seller arranges fresh white blocks in neat rows on wooden trays. A soft bell chimes above his stand, not to call attention, but to gently say, "I am here." The air smells of soy sauce, ink, and the faint smoke from cooking fires. Paper lanterns still hang from the night before, swaying just slightly in the morning breeze. Their red color has faded in the sun, but they still carry their charm. Somewhere down the lane, a young boy delivers tea leaves wrapped in parchment. His footsteps are quick, but his voice is soft as he bows at each door. A samurai passes through the market in a plain brown robe. His sword stays at his side untouched. People move gently aside, not out of fear, but out of quiet respect. There are no loud orders, no fast hands, only small nods, soft greetings, and the slow, even rhythm of daily life. A scribe sits cross-legged near a stall, copying a poem onto rice paper. His brush moves smoothly, one stroke at a time. He hums under his breath, blending with the other small sounds around him, the rustle of silk, the murmur of voices, the wheels of a cart turning slowly. Here in the castle town, even the busiest street knows how to move softly, like a stream around a stone. In the shade of a maple tree hidden behind a quiet house, a carpenter kneels beside a long beam of smooth cypress wood. The morning sun warms the surface gently, revealing soft rings in the grain lines that tell a silent story of years gone by. He places his hand flat on the beam. He doesn't rush. He listens with his fingers first. The carpenter's plane called a kana glides forward with a faint shh, almost like a whisper. Thin ribbons of wood peel away, curling into delicate shavings that float down like feathers. They settle in soft piles around his knees, too light to even make a sound. Each motion is careful and slow, and he pauses often to check his work, not with a ruler, but with his eyes, his touch, and his patience. There is no loud hammering, no shouting across the yard, just the steady rhythm of the plane, the quiet rustle of wood, and the occasional breeze that brushes through the leaves above. Apprentices sit nearby watching in silence. They know not to interrupt. Here, the lesson is not in talking, but in watching. Every movement the carpenter makes tells them something important. how to respect the wood, how to be gentle, and how to work with care. When the beam is finished, he lifts it slowly and fits it into a frame already taking shape. It slides in perfectly, like it was always meant to be there. No nails, no glue, only the match between shape and shape, made right by time and skill. This work may take many days, but the carpenter does not mind. He builds with patience, just like the trees that gave him the wood, one layer at a time, one quiet breath at a time. It's early morning, and the sun has just started to warm the stone streets. A soft breeze carries the scent of sea salt and roasted barley through the market lanes. Lanterns sway gently overhead even though they are no longer lit. Their soft paper rustles with each breath of wind. A merchant's wife steps into the street. Her feet move lightly in wooden sandals. Her cotton parasol shields her face from the light. It is painted with tiny plum blossoms, delicate and faded from years of use. She walks slowly, not because she is old or tired, but because there is no need to hurry. At the seaweed stall, she stops. The vendor unrolls long sheets of dried nori, dark, shiny, almost like silk. She runs her fingers over them gently and chooses 3. No words are spoken at first. They bow. Then a few coins are placed in a wooden tray. The sound is soft, a quiet clink, almost musical. Further down, she selects a bundle of green shiso leaves. Their scent is sharp and fresh, and she smiles softly as she brings them close. She also finds barley tea, a jar of plum vinegar, and a spool of thread the color of morning fog. She doesn't forget the shrine. It stands tucked between 2 shops, small, peaceful, almost hidden. She lights a single stick of incense. Smoke rises slowly. She bows her head and prays. Her prayer is short and simple, for health, for peace, for her family. By the time she turns to leave, the morning is halfway gone. But her steps are just as steady as before. Her basket is full, her heart quiet. Another market day is done, not loud, not busy, just gentle, careful, and calm. In a quiet corner of the village, where bamboo fences lean gently over narrow paths, a group of children sits around low tables. Morning light filters through the leaves, painting soft patterns on the floor. Their teacher, an older man with a gentle voice, holds up a brush. The lesson is calligraphy. Each child dips their brush into black ink, carefully watching the ripples settle before they begin. One by one, they paint each stroke, slowly, thoughtfully. Every character is like a picture, a story told with lines. The teacher does not rush them. He walks behind each child in silence, occasionally nodding or softly pointing to a brush angle that needs adjusting. Outside, a younger group of children plays near a stream. They have folded paper boats, some crisp and new, others soggy and well-loved. They place them on the water and cheer quietly as the little boats float away. The breeze carries laughter, but even the laughter here is gentle. One girl crouches by the riverbank, watching a beetle crawl over a stone. Another boy hums a song as he collects pebbles with strange shapes. The world is still and peaceful, like a painting. When the lesson is over, the school children clean their brushes and carefully roll up their writing papers. They bow to their teacher and to each other. There are no loud goodbyes, only soft steps as they walk home carrying their bundles. Some will help with chores, others will study more. But for now, they all share a sense of quiet pride, not from grades or prizes, but from learning something slowly, with care. Here in feudal Japan, even the games children play and the words they write carry the rhythm of peace, steady, simple, and full of meaning. In the center of the village stands a small wooden hall, with walls darkened by time and weather. Inside, a long scroll hangs across a wooden beam. It shows drawings of flowers, animals, and symbols not for decoration but for marking time. This is the farmer's calendar. It doesn't have numbers or weeks like modern calendars. Instead, it follows the rhythm of nature. A sprouting rice plant means planting season. A chrysanthemum bloom means autumn is near. A picture of snow falling on a pine branch tells of winter's arrival. Each sign is like a whisper from the land. The farmers gather once a month. They sit cross-legged on the floor, each holding a warm cup of barley tea. Their clothes are simple, their hands are rough. They speak softly about the weather, the moon, the river's level. They don't argue, they don't rush. Often, there is silence, and in that silence, they listen. To the wind outside, to the creak of the wooden walls, to the memory of what past seasons have taught. Together, they decide when to plant, when to harvest, when to rest. They trust the signs, the color of leaves, the sound of birds, the smell of the air before rain. When the meeting is over, they stand slowly, bow, and return to their homes. The calendar remains, waiting for its next visitors. It does not shout, it does not flash, it simply hangs there, season after season, guiding the farmers with quiet wisdom. In feudal Japan, time was not a ticking clock. It was the gentle turning of seasons. And for those who worked the land, each day was part of something bigger, slower, and beautifully steady. The tare room is small, just a few steps wide. Its walls are made of wood and paper, touched by the light of the setting sun. The air smells faintly of tatami straw and old cedar. Outside, the wind rustles through the bamboo. Inside, everything is still. A guest kneels just outside the door. The entrance is low, so everyone must bow to enter. Whether samurai, farmer, or merchant, all must lower their heads. Inside, there is no rank. Only respect, only peace. The host wears simple robes. Every motion is slow. His hands move like water folding cloth, lifting tools, placing bowls. He does not speak much, but each gesture tells a story. He lights the charcoal with care, waiting patiently as the kettle begins to whisper. The soft hiss of rising steam joins the silence like a flute in the distance. Green matcha powder is placed into a handmade bowl, rough around the edges, but beautiful in its imperfection. The bamboo whisk moves in tiny circles. The tea foams lightly, its surface the color of moss. The host turns the bowl, then offers it. The guest bows and accepts it with both hands. Before drinking, they take a moment to admire the bowl. They sip slowly, letting the warmth spread gently through their chest. No one hurries, no one interrupts. Even the silence feels full of care, of thought, of presence. The tea ceremony is not just about tea. It is about the moment. A pause from the noise of the world. A chance to breathe, to notice, to connect. When the final bow is given and the guests step back outside, they carry that stillness with them like the scent of the tea, lingering long after the last drop is gone. At the edge of the village, where the trees grow thick and tall, stands a quiet Shinto shrine. Its torii gate, painted in faded red, marks the boundary between the world of people and the world of spirits. The wood is worn, smoothed by time and many gentle hands. Moss grows at its base, soft and green like velvet. A villager walks slowly up the path. She carries no special offering, only a quiet heart. Her steps are light, her breath steady. Birds chirp in the branches above, and leaves rustle with the morning breeze. She passes beneath the torii and bows deeply. Then she walks to the offering box, a simple wooden chest, and drops in 2 coins. They fall with a soft clink. Next, she reaches up and rings a thick rope attached to a bell. The bell's deep tone echoes gently through the trees, not loud, but low and warm, like a welcome. She claps her hands twice. then bows once more. Her prayer is silent. It is not long. Just a thought, a hope for her children, for the crops, for the changing season. Around the shrine are small wooden plaques, where others have written their wishes. Some ask for health, some for love, some for nothing more than calm. They hang in rows, swinging gently like wind chimes, without sound. Nearby, paper fortunes are tied to branches. Some bring good news, some bring warnings. But even the bad ones are treated with care, folded neatly, left in the hands of the wind. In feudal Japan, faith wasn't just in temples or sermons. It was in these little moments. A bow, a prayer, a breath beneath the trees, a soft connection between the world seen and the world unseen. The sky is still pale when the traveler begins his journey. He wears a straw cloak tied over simple robes, and his pack is slung over one shoulder. His hat is wide and low, shielding his face from sun and rain alike. His feet, wrapped in straw sandals, press into the firm, beaten earth of the old road, the Tokaido. This road connects Edo to Kyoto. It winds past rivers, mountains, farms, and forests. It is long but not lonely. Other travelers walk it too. Monks, messengers, merchants, even wandering performers. But no one speaks loudly. The road asks for stillness. With each step, the traveler feels the world widen. He passes a farmer leading an ox. They nod to one another without words. A tea house appears ahead, low and quiet. Inside, warm rice porridge waits in a steaming bowl, and green tea fills a small clay cup. The traveler eats slowly, seated on tatami, letting the warmth sink into his hands. After resting, he returns to the road. It hums softly beneath his feet, alive with memory. Stone markers pass by like old friends. Trees stretch above, their branches whispering in the wind. At a small shrine by the path, he pauses to bow. As evening comes, fireflies rise from the grasses, blinking like stars. The traveler stops at an inn. A paper lantern glows by the door. Inside, he lays down his pack and soaks his feet in warm water. He writes in his travel book, the brush scratching softly on the page. He does not rush. He does not count miles. For him, the road itself is the journey. The slowness is the gift. The Tokaido is more than a path. It is a teacher, guiding each step with calm and each day with peace. As the sun begins to dip behind the hills, a soft golden light covers the village. The day is ending, and people are finishing their work. In the distance, the tap, tap, tap of a wooden staff echoes down the road. A monk is arriving. He wears a faded robe of deep orange and brown. His head is shaved, his feet dusty from travel. On his back is a cloth bundle. At his side, a wooden flute and a small hand drum. His face is peaceful, as if the long road behind him was not a burden, but a blessing. Children are the first to notice him. They run ahead, not with shouting, but with curious eyes. Soon the adults come too. They bring small stools and bowls of tea. No one needs an invitation. Everyone knows what this means. A story is coming. The monk sits beneath a large tree near the shrine. The leaves above rustle in the wind. He begins not with his flute, but with silence. He looks around slowly, letting everyone settle. Then, in a voice no louder than the breeze, he speaks. He tells a tale of a fisherman who gave away all his catch to feed a stranger, of a fox spirit who protected a village from fire, of a humble farmer whose kindness was repaid by the mountain gods. The stories aren't fast. They are slow, careful, full of pauses, as if the monk is letting the words sink gently into the air. When the story ends, he plays one note on his flute. It's soft and low, and it seems to hang in the night long after he walks away. No applause, no fanfare, just a shared stillness. In feudal Japan, sometimes the quietest visitors brought the deepest peace. The sun has set now. Shadows stretch long and soft across the village. Lamps glow behind paper screens. But one place in particular is warm with light, steam, and soft voices, the communal bathhouse. From outside, the scent of yuzu, small Japanese citrus fruits, drifts on the air. The bathhouse is made of wood, its roof low and welcoming. A narrow curtain sways gently at the entrance, showing a painted symbol for hot water. Inside, the air is warm and damp. Steam curls slowly through the room, rising from the great wooden tubs where hot spring water waits. The room hums, but only faintly, with the sound of water, the scrape of ladles, and the occasional quiet greeting between neighbors. People enter and undress quietly, folding their clothes neatly into baskets. Before stepping into the bath, they sit on low stools to wash themselves. Wooden buckets are filled, soap lathered, skin rinsed with care. No one rushes. This is not just for cleaning, this is for peace. Then comes the soaking. The water is hot but gentle. It wraps around the body like a soft blanket. Muscles relax, eyes close. The worries of the day drift upward with the steam and disappear. No one talks much. But if they do, it's in soft tones, like speaking during a rainstorm. The walls are damp, the floor smooth, the light golden from hanging lanterns. Shadows dance on the surface of the water. It's a space where even silence feels shared, where time itself slows down. When they leave, their skin is warm, their steps light. Outside, the night is cool and full of stars. And as they walk home, the scent of cedar lingers in their hair, and calm settles deep into their bones. Night has arrived, but it doesn't fall all at once. It floats in gently like ink, slowly spreading through water. The sky deepens to soft blue, then gray, then black. And all across the village, warm light begins to glow behind paper walls. In each home, a single lantern is lit. The flame inside is small but steady. It sits behind oiled washi paper, giving off a golden light, not bright, but enough to gently chase away the dark. From outside, the houses look like quiet stars set low upon the earth. Inside, families move slowly now. A mother threads her needle by lantern light, mending a sleeve with soft, even stitches. Her husband grinds dried tea leaves in a small stone mill, pausing every so often to sip from a warm cup. A child nearby draws shapes in the dust with her finger, eyes heavy with sleep. Outside, the air is cool. A light breeze sways the grass, and bamboo stalks clack softly together. A lone fire watchman walks the empty streets, his wooden clappers tapping a steady beat to let others know all is safe. He wears a simple robe and carries no weapon, only a calm presence, moving like a shadow through the lanes. Somewhere, a flute begins to play one soft note, then another, drifting like smoke. No tune, just sound, the kind that makes you stop and listen without knowing why. Crickets sing, frogs answer, and the village breathes in time with the night. In feudal Japan, the dark wasn't feared. It was a time to rest, to slow down, to return inward. The world didn't stop, it just became softer, more hushed. And in that hush, people found a gentle kind of peace. Snow falls quietly over the mountain village. Each flake floats down slowly, like a soft breath from the sky. The rooftops are covered in white, and the trees wear coats of ice and silence. Everything is still. In one small house, smoke rises gently from the chimney. Inside, the walls are thick with straw, packed tightly to keep out the cold wind. The floor is bare, but warm straw mats cover the sleeping spaces. In the center of the room is a sunken hearth, a square pit filled with glowing charcoal. The light it gives is soft and orange, flickering against wooden beams. A black iron kettle hangs above the fire. It sings a quiet tune as it boils water for soup. Inside the pot are root vegetables, daikon, burdock, carrots, and miso, thick and comforting. The smell drifts through the room, rich and familiar. A grandfather sits near the fire, wrapping his hands around a warm cup. His voice is low and slow as he tells a story, not one of adventure or war, but of a snowstorm long ago and how the family endured it together. His grandchildren sit beside him, their legs tucked beneath thick blankets, listening with sleepy eyes. Boots made of rice straw dry by the fire. Their damp fibers curl as they warm. A mother adds another log to the coals. A father carefully stirs the soup, tasting it with a carved wooden spoon. Outside, the wind moves through the trees, whispering across the frozen ground, but inside, it's quiet, safe, still. In feudal Japan, winter was a time to pause, a time to gather close, share warmth, and listen to the fire speak in slow, glowing crackles. A season not just of cold, but of closeness. Spring arrives quietly, but with beauty that cannot be ignored. One morning, without warning, the cherry trees bloom. Pale pink petals open like tiny hands, soft and weightless. The branches stretch wide, full of blossoms that move gently in the breeze, like silk sleeves in a slow dance. In the village, word spreads quickly. The sakura are blooming. Families gather beneath the trees. They carry reed mats, woven baskets, and bento simple lunch boxes filled with rice balls, pickled vegetables, and sweet egg omelets. Some bring small flasks of sake or warm tea wrapped in cloth. There is no schedule, no rush, just a shared wish to sit together and watch the blossoms. The trees form a canopy above the people. Light filters through the petals, casting soft shadows on the ground. Children lie on their backs, trying to catch falling petals with open hands. A few elderly men play quiet tunes on bamboo flutes. A poet sits under a tree with a brush and paper, writing haiku as the petals fall like snow. No one speaks loudly. The laughter is gentle. The conversations are quiet. Everyone understands that this is not just a picnic. It is a moment that comes once a year, a short, delicate breath of beauty. As the day goes on, the wind picks up, petals begin to fall faster. They drift into teacups, settle in the folds of robes, and rest on bare arms. The ground becomes a blanket of pink. By sunset, the trees begin to empty. But no one is sad. The falling petals remind them of life itself, beautiful, brief, and best enjoyed slowly. In feudal Japan, to watch the cherry blossoms fall was not to mourn their ending, but to celebrate their gentle passing. The air is warm and thick, with a smell of grilled rice cakes and sweet syrup. Night has fallen, but the village is alive with gentle light and movement. It's festival night, a time when even the quietest souls step softly into celebration. Paper lanterns line the paths, glowing in soft orange and yellow. They hang from wooden poles and tree branches, their delicate shapes swaying with the summer breeze. Reflections shimmer on the river below, like stars dancing on water. People walk slowly through the festival grounds in cotton yukata. The robes are light and patterned with dragonflies, flowers, or waves. Wooden sandals click softly on the ground. Laughter floats through the air, but nothing is loud. Even joy here is calm. Children carry small paper fans and trail behind their parents. They stop to watch goldfish swim in shallow bowls, or to taste sugar-covered fruits on sticks. Each treat is enjoyed slowly, as if time itself has agreed to wait. Near the shrine, a group of villagers gathers around a circle. Drummers begin to play not fast or wild, but steady and deep, like a heartbeat. People move in slow steps around the drum, arms rising and falling in time. It is the Bon Odori, a dance for the spirits of ancestors, a dance for remembering. On the riverbank, lanterns with candles inside are placed gently on the water. One by one, they drift away, carrying soft light into the dark. No fireworks crack the sky. No loud music breaks the spell. Just quiet feet, soft drums, and the hush of summer air. In feudal Japan, the summer festival wasn't for noise. It was for feeling, for remembering the past, honoring the present, and moving together in the light of the lanterns. The house is quiet now. The sky outside is black and calm, dotted with stars. Only the soft creak of the wooden beams and the low hum of nighttime insects can be heard. Inside, a fire burns low in the hearth. Its orange glow flickers gently, casting slow-moving shadows on the walls. A man sits alone by the fire. He has finished his day's work. His tools are cleaned and put away. His family sleeps in the next room wrapped in futons. He doesn't speak. He doesn't move much. He just watches the fire, watching how the flames curl and bend, how the red coals pulse like breathing. He holds a warm bowl of tea in his hands. The cup is old, chipped on one side, but it feels good in his palms. It carries heat and comfort. He lifts it, sips slowly, and exhales a quiet breath. All around him are signs of life lived gently. A pair of sandals at the door, a stack of rice straw ready for the morning, a small wooden flute resting on a shelf long since played. Nothing here is perfect, yet everything fits. He looks into the fire and thinks of nothing in particular, maybe the rice fields, maybe his children, maybe the sound of rain. His mind is not busy. It is soft, open, still. The flames begin to die down. The glow fades to ash. He stands, stretches, and bows once to the hearth, as if saying thank you. Then he steps into the sleeping room and lies down on the floor, pulling a blanket over himself. The house sighs with him. In feudal Japan, peace was found in the small things, a quiet fire, a slow sip, a night that asked for nothing but rest.